Police agencies around the world are circulating photos of Luka Magnotta.
Magnotta is wanted for the gruesome murder and dismemberment of 33-year-old Jun Lin.
He was spotted, questioned, and then arrested, ending a feverish manhunt that has made headlines around the world.
This is where the hunt for Luka Magnotta ended. When police finally arrested him, he was looking at pictures of himself on the internet.
Welcome. Today, we will explore a deeply disturbing case that shocked not only Canada, but the entire world: the murder of Jun Lin by Luka Magnotta in 2012. This case brought forth issues surrounding mental health, crime, and the role of social media, leaving an indelible mark on communities and discussions about safety and justice. This case not only highlighted the dark intersections of internet notoriety and real-world violence, but also raised pressing questions about mental health, media sensationalism, and the global reach of online content. Jun Lin, also known as Justin Lin, was born on December 30th, 1978, in Wuhan, China. In 2010, he moved to Canada to pursue studies in computer engineering at Concordia University in Montreal. Described as a diligent and kind individual, Lin balanced his academic pursuits with part-time work at a convenience store in Pointe St. Charles. He was known for his warm personality and had a close-knit group of friends. Lin was openly gay and had previously been married to a woman in China, though they later divorced. In Canada, he had lived with another Chinese man for a time. On May 1st, 2012, Lin moved into an apartment in the Griffintown area with a roommate, marking a new chapter in his life. Born as Eric Clinton Kirk Newman on July 24th, 1982, in Scarborough, Ontario, Luka Magnotta was the first of 3 children to Anna Yurkin and Donald Newman. His early life was marred by instability. His father was diagnosed with schizophrenia in 1994, leading to his parents' divorce. Magnotta then moved in with his grandmother, Phyllis. He attended I.E. Weldon Secondary School in Lindsay. Diagnosed with schizophrenia himself, Magnotta received a disability allowance and supplemented his income through sex work. Magnotta sought fame through various avenues, including unsuccessful auditions for reality TV shows like Outfit's Cover Guy in 2007 and Slice Network's Plastic Makes Perfect in 2008. He underwent multiple cosmetic surgeries and crafted numerous online personas, creating at least 70 Facebook pages and 20 websites under different names. These platforms were used to fabricate stories about his life, including false claims of being a successful model and a prominent porn star. In 2007, he spread a rumor about dating Karla Homolka, a notorious Canadian convicted murderer, which he later denied. This pattern of deception highlighted his deep-seated desire for attention and notoriety. Magnotta's criminal activities began to surface in 2005 when he was convicted of fraud and impersonation. He had manipulated a mentally disabled woman into applying for credit cards, which he then used to accrue over $10,000 in debt. Although accused of sexually assaulting the woman, this charge was later dropped. He pleaded guilty and received a 9-month conditional sentence with 12 months of probation. The court noted his significant psychiatric issues and inconsistent adherence to medication. Between 2010 and 2011, Magnotta's actions took a more sinister turn. He posted videos online depicting the torture and killing of kittens, including one titled "One Boy, 2 Kittens," where he suffocated 2 kittens using a vacuum cleaner. These videos sparked outrage among animal rights activists and online communities, who attempted to identify and report him to authorities. Despite their efforts, Magnotta remained at large, and concerns grew that his cruelty toward animals might escalate to humans. On the night of May 24, 2012, surveillance cameras captured Jen Lin entering Magnotta's apartment building. This was the last time Lin was seen alive. Shortly after, an 11-minute video titled "One Lunatic, One Ice Pick" was uploaded. The video depicted a naked male, later identified as Lin, tied to a bed frame, being repeatedly stabbed with what appeared to be an ice pick and a kitchen knife. The perpetrator engaged in acts of necrophilia and dismemberment, using a knife and fork to cut off some flesh and feeding parts to a dog. The background featured the song "True Faith" by New Order, and a poster for the film Casablanca was visible on the wall. Authorities later confirmed the video's authenticity and identified Magnotta as the suspect. The gruesome nature of the crime unfolded further when packages containing human body parts were mailed to various locations. On May 29th, a package containing a left foot was delivered to the Conservative Party of Canada's headquarters, while another package containing a left hand was intercepted en route to the Liberal Party. Both packages were stained with blood and emitted a foul odor. Notes accompanying the packages indicated that more body parts had been distributed and hinted at future crimes. That same day, a janitor discovered a decomposing torso inside a suitcase among garbage in an alley behind Magnotta's apartment building in the Snowdon area of Montreal. The suitcase had been left out for garbage collection days earlier, but was initially overlooked due to the volume of trash. Further investigation of the scene led to the recovery of additional human remains. Blood was found on various items in the apartment, including the mattress, refrigerator, table, and bathtub. A message scrawled in red ink inside a closet read, "If you don't like the reflection, don't look in the mirror. I don't care." Let's take a look on how the janitor discovered the suitcase.
We're trying to clean out a locker here, and I noticed that there was a suitcase right over here.
It looked like a brand new suitcase, so I said maybe I'll take the suitcase, which thank goodness I didn't.
And I went to get a neighbor and I said, let's take a look at this suitcase because it smells terrible, and we noticed there was maggots coming out of it. We opened it, there was the body with no head.
And this morning, apartment 208, which is adjacent to mine, there was an overwhelming smell like rotten meat, and there were policemen all over the place. And then the detectives came to show me some pictures. Picture of an Asian fella, which I'd never seen before. As far as I could tell, the body was dismembered there, and they found the body parts there. Nobody said they found the body parts in there, but I saw them walk out with like thermoses. They had thermoses when they walked out, and the smell was overwhelming.
There was some people that they're scared right out of their mind, because they never saw anything like this. And
On June 5th, 2 more packages containing a right foot and a right hand were delivered to 2 elementary schools in Vancouver, British Columbia. These packages were also sent from Montreal and were wrapped in pink tissue paper. One of the notes included with the packages read, "Roses are red, violets are blue. The police will need dental records to identify you." The macabre deliveries heightened public fear and intensified the manhunt. Luka Magnotta, the brutal and disturbing murder of Jen Lin, sparked a nationwide manhunt that extended beyond borders. The investigation was spearheaded by Peter Lambrinakos, with the Service de Police de la Ville de Montreal issuing an arrest warrant for the suspect, Luka Magnotta. This was later upgraded to a Canada-wide warrant by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, listing charges that included first-degree murder, committing an indignity to a dead body, publishing obscene material, mailing obscene and indecent content, and criminal harassment of then Prime Minister Stephen Harper and other government officials. On May 31st, 2012, Interpol issued a red notice for Magnotta at the request of Canadian authorities, elevating his fugitive status internationally. His photograph and details were prominently displayed on Interpol's homepage, urging any member state to detain him pending extradition. However, before the red notice was issued, Magnotta had already fled Canada. On May 25th, he booked a flight from Montreal to Paris under his real name. His trail in Paris led authorities to a hotel in Bagnolet, but he had left before police arrived, leaving behind pornographic magazines and an air sickness bag. Magnotta had also used a false passport under the alias Kirk Trammell, a name reportedly inspired by the movie Basic Instinct. Despite having contacts from a previous visit to Paris in 2010, Magnotta kept on the move, boarding a Eurolines bus at the Bagnolet coach station bound for Berlin, Germany. His run from law enforcement ended on June 4, 2012, when Berlin police apprehended him at an internet cafe in the Neukölln district. Ironically, at the time of his arrest, Magnotta was reading news stories about himself. Initially attempting to provide fake names, he eventually admitted his identity, which was confirmed through fingerprint analysis. The following day, Magnotta appeared before a Berlin court, where he did not oppose extradition. Given the overwhelming evidence against him, he remained in custody until arrangements were made to return him to Canada. On June 18, 2012, Canadian authorities flew Magnotta from Berlin to Montreal aboard a Royal Canadian Air Force CC-150 Polaris. The use of a military aircraft was justified by concerns over safety and the possibility of legal complications should the flight be diverted mid-route. Upon arrival, Magnotta was placed in solitary confinement at the Rivière des Prairies detention center. News of Jun Lin's murder shocked the global community, with Chinese media particularly emphasizing concerns over racial motivation. In Canada, the crime raised questions about public safety, especially within the international student community, as it was the second high-profile murder of a Chinese student in a short span. Canadian Foreign Affairs Minister John Baird personally extended condolences to the Chinese ambassador Jen Sai-jong. On June 4, 2012, Prime Minister Stephen Harper publicly acknowledged the successful apprehension of the suspect, praising law enforcement agencies for their swift action. On June 6th, Lin's family arrived in Montreal, where they were supported by the Chinese Students and Scholars Association of Concordia University. A fund was established to assist them, and a scholarship was created in Lin's honor. Montreal residents held a candlelight vigil in his memory. Despite the gravity of the crime, controversy arose when Magnotta was named Canadian Newsmaker of the Year by the Canadian Press, a decision that was widely criticized for seemingly rewarding notoriety over victim remembrance. Lin's remains were cremated on July 11, 2012, and buried at Notre Dame des Neiges Cemetery on July 26. On June 19, 2012, Magnotta appeared in court via video link and pleaded not guilty to all charges. On June 21st, he personally appeared in a high-security Montreal courtroom to request a trial by jury. The preliminary hearing commenced on March 11, 2013, with a publication ban placed on key evidence. Although Magnotta's defense team attempted to bar media and public access, this motion was denied. Lin's father, Darren Lin, traveled from China to witness the proceedings firsthand. Throughout the preliminary hearing, expert forensic testimony was presented, including findings from pathologists, odontologists, toxicologists, and internet crime specialists. Disturbing video evidence was also introduced. The case proceeded to trial, with Magnotta formally indicted on April 12, 2013, on charges of first-degree murder, offering indignities to a human body, distributing obscene materials, and criminal harassment. During the trial, Magnotta admitted to committing the acts but pleaded not guilty, claiming he was not criminally responsible due to mental illness. The prosecution argued that the murder was premeditated and methodically carried out, while the defense contended that Magnotta was in a psychotic state, influenced by severe mental disorders. Expert testimony revealed that Magnotta had been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, schizophrenia, and other mental illnesses, though some psychiatrists believed his condition was exaggerated. After a trial spanning 12 weeks, the jury deliberated for 8 days before reaching a verdict. On December 23, 2014, Magnotta was found guilty on all charges. He received a mandatory life sentence with the possibility of parole after 25 years, along with an additional 19-year sentence for other offenses to be served concurrently. Initially, Magnotta filed an appeal, citing errors in jury instruction, but he later withdrew it on February 18, 2015. Magnotta was briefly investigated for potential involvement in the 2012 Hollywood sign murder, but was ruled out by the Los Angeles Police Department. Similarly, he was examined for any links to the Toronto serial homicides between 2010 and 2017, but no evidence supported his involvement. The chilling and calculated nature of Luka Magnotta's crimes, coupled with his use of the internet for both attention and evasion, ensured that his case would remain one of the most widely publicized and dissected criminal events in Canadian history.